Okay, everybody, welcome back. Sorry, I've been a little bit since last time, but what is Eagle's dream? You see, the seventh user. Hey, hello, Zukum. It seems you finally can use my quirk. Float. It's not much different. It's not really much more support. Not much, but it is definitely something that helped me a lot. Using one for all, once you can actually use one for all with actually as a strength part of one for all, it'd be very useful to fly. You can actually more or less fly using more or less fly. Also, it seems like we make so far you've got good progress at least to actually being able to lower how much you can actually use because so far you were only so far suppressing, we're so far helping you, or so far getting it to 35% without our help. Once you actually get trained, you can actually use it. Also, the rest of us are here helping. The rest of us are here interesting. The only course that I would really, the 2 years that most likely won't help you until like later if you actually need it. Would be, would be the second and third user, the using the Bajin and Gear Shift. Those only quests that they're not gonna miss a lot. The second and third users don't really, it's just say they don't trust you. They just don't think that you're gonna they don't think you're gonna need it. Okay, they don't think you're gonna have to use it or need their quirks at all. Maybe the future might give it to you, but for a while, they won't. It's not like we're facing a threat, hopefully. But if he does show up, mm, those quirks are the easiest so far, the easiest quirks to actually use without any practice. This is your journey now. We cut. Let's see. Here's what it is: 30, 25, 20. 30, 30, 5, 20, 15, 10, 10%, 8, 9, 10 years old. You get to 10 years old. Ezekiel has mastered all the quirks he could use. More or less, except second, third, and enhancement. He got to 10% though, which is basically his plateau of where he can use it. That's as low percentage as low as it will go for now. He's 10 years old. He can use all the quirks without problem. He mastered Black Whip. It is done and over. If he mastered, he can use one fall throughout it within it. He can use it with his other emotions of anger, happiness, sadness. It's more or less don't really realize much of an emotion at all. Except for if there's motion in the stream, like someone dying in front of him that he knows for a while, that he known for a while. That would most likely, the Black Whip Deku, well, that's definitely gonna happen. It more or less that can still happen. Smoke Train, he more or less improved how much he can produce out of his body, how fast, and how much. Even though he can be a big one, he can see through it. In a sense, that really cannot be improved at all. That mostly is just he can basically feel danger, more or less, a little bit further away from him. It gives him bloody headaches if he's close to him and he's gonna die. Most likely that hasn't happened. About been very unsuccessful. He can basically float in place, but that's basically it. Nothing really, not much damage changing. Also, he can use. Also, his moves haven't changed. He has support gloves, more or less, not really support, but they've been. He have better gloves now. He's able to figure out how Air Force would work actually, how much because he's been practicing a little bit with his hand, so he can actually use it, and he's been able to perfectly figure out Air Force and how some gloves how gloves work. So he has it. So gloves are basically Air Force at this point now. He has no costume yet. He knows what he could probably do for him, more or less. But how? Guys, gone. Mm. Give me a moment, okay? I probably have to end it. I do not play Persona 4, okay? Sorry. Really? Sorry about that, guys. I just don't want to do that right now. Okay, the only game I have that I'm playing right now is Far Cry 5, but I'm already ahead of what the heck the story would be. So, sorry, and no, I don't have Persona 4. I'm eating chocolate now. I'm seeing the need to search something out. Okay, so what I basically do a little time skip for a couple years. Right now when do you start working out? I'm gonna go to 12 years, gonna go to 13 years old. At 13 years old, Ezekiel has started to work out, has been cleaning up the beach, more or less. He didn't take him as long as he wants to, but he's definitely pushing it. He's so far taking a little bit out every day to build up muscle, actually, so it is gonna go over a course for a while, for all that. More or less. It's gonna take a course of at least for 2 years. 13, 14, 15 years old, Ezekiel is actually finished cleaning the beach. He did really small increments each day. Thank you for that, but don't dare to, please. I'm recording, I'm recording this time. So Ezekiel is finally 15 years old. His body can handle 5%. His whole body, if he does full counting, but he doesn't. And the rest of summer break, Ezekiel works out more and more, even getting weights onto his regardless exercise. Now Ezekiel can actually use one for all perfectly. prime state, one for all, smoke counting, 10%. I am not going to go any lower with that. May not seem much, but you gotta remember, he is not just using one for all in power, strength. He basically can use Black Whip, Ginger Set, Smoke Screen, and Float. Your shift and Overpower are basically powerful as hell, you know that. Gosh sake, Fajin is that powerful and is powerful as well. But he has a basic understanding. He can easily use full counting. And his air gloves are more that's more useful. Those basically are the gloves he uses during the Class A versus Class B thing. The gloves couldn't. Okay, I think they're later gloves. I think the ones mostly the gloves we see at with the Endeavor's agency, with Zuko, Todoroki, and Mako. Those gloves he's using where the holes can go through. Batman could basically fully go through those, and he can use it easily. His right hand is all Black Whip. Hmm. Meaning, if he has to use 100%, he's not gonna break anything with his body. He is basically not gonna sacrifice any part of his body anymore. This is the one problem that he had. He broke every single body in his bone every single time he used this work. Now he has a solution. 1,000,000% right arm, infinite percent, 100% smashes are basically gonna be going through there. Also, give me a second. I'm gonna answer this. I'm gonna pause, turn off my.
He connected! Creeper Man, I love you so much, man. You're a fucking king, bro. I'm watching your stream right now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You can just keep going. Yeah? Yeah, no worries, man. My Hero Academia, you know?
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go straight to the UA entrance. UA. Exam. Zuko walks to the entrance exam. His final day of middle school. He walks and almost trips on
And
stone.
and
Okay, I might have to just. I'm gonna end the call so I can finish this rest of the stuff up, okay?
all right, man. Hey, have a good day, man. You're based.
Okay, my audio back on. Yes, it is. Sorry about that. That was just embarrassing, so. UA entrance exam. Izuku walks into the entrance UA. Having the great time of his life. Wait, I wanna go back a bit. I'm gonna have to. Okay, let's just put this little note in just give me not go straight to UA, but a little bit, a simple, a little fun plot that we have been missing out on. Baku's life. A little bit of stuff. Since Izuku has got one for all, Izuku and Baku's relationship has never got better or worse. They are more or less not strangers, but associates. They don't really talk to each other, but they do. If they have to work together, they will. Bakugo is the only person that can stand Bakugo is the only person who can actually stand Izuku or really talk to him. No one else really wants to talk to him, but they're not gonna really make fun of him either. They mostly just don't respect. They don't have respect for him, but they don't hate him either. Mostly, more or less, they just don't really care about Izuku. The only person who can is Bakugo see as a rival because he's not shown his power, but he's not shown his power. But he definitely can feel off Izuku a little some strength off of him. Not really showing off his quirk, but he definitely can tell. He definitely did see his hand one time, not fully, but part of it was completely blackened. You can see some black whip on it, or not. He didn't see the full quirk, but he definitely did see his right hand, and he did see a little bit of right hand. And as I said, Bakugo wasn't been working not as much. He definitely about improving his own work. He still has his cronies with him, but Malcolm doesn't see them as actual people, more or less, just extras that probably might be able to help him. And as soon as he saw Ezekiel actually getting muscle, he started doing the same, but a lot more a pace or a faster pace, a lot more stronger. Basically, right now, his strength, his physical strength, if he had one for all, he'd be able to use 15% of it. And his quirk is definitely strong, but strong as Ezekiel's 10% is basically stronger than Cannon right now. But Ezekiel can right now, if physically facing Bakugo with no quirks, Ezekiel might be able to win. He has a strategy. He has been developing his quirk analysis is overpowering at this point. He has mastered. He's been doing great analysis on his notebooks. He's good at that. And his speed is pretty great. He has a fighting style. He is going to use basically foot style more or less with some not much any punches, but more or less kicks are mostly his fighting style, with some punches and using air force. So basically, Baku, he doesn't have any fighting style. More or less, he just relies on raw power of explosions and leads it with a right hook. He doesn't have much of style at this point at all. Yeah, computer fucking hell. Okay, now we got Baku's real actual problems out of the way. We'll talk about one little bit that actually did surprise Bakugo. It was on the not much of the news, more or less, Mountain Lady and Comedy Mood thing. That happened as you can tell, but the bridge is falling. Mountain Lady accidentally did it. So here on the right, Ezekiel forcibly pushed One for All to a 2% power. He couldn't really do much at all. He basically forced himself to actually push his body towards the limit. It started to migrate towards the bridge and basically held up it. He's having problems. He started punching more and more for all into his right arm, right hand. Which in turn also he pushed him that right one for all to Black Cliff itself. Holding the bridge up, telling people to move out of the way so he can let this down before the bridge and before he can't hold it as much longer. People out of the way, and Ezekiel starts walking away. One for all is standing out, and one for all is definitely working. Black Cliff is working. Ezekiel is lowering the bridge slowly. The piece that broke off. People almost start noticing Ezekiel. Ezekiel pushes One for All and runs so he can get away. They don't really notice who did it. They're able to get a glimpse of some of Forkman News there, and Matthew saw that. He was not thinking. He definitely saw the picture. He could definitely tell. He could definitely see, can't tell who that was. So he made a good guess of who it was. He noticed a black whip. So he noticed it, and Baku noticed that look similar to what Deku hand looks like. The one time he saw it, after he learned his gloves. Maybe he saw a piece, but he definitely noticed it. And he's like, okay, Ezekiel definitely is getting strong. We come back to the present. He's not being Uraraka attacking Uraraka. That's just him. We gotta back. We gotta make speech about how he's talking, and this one kid raises his hand and saying, this on this sheet it says there's 4 robots, but you're only so far showing us only 3 robots. If this makes it think I knew A, mistake on UA. This is something for NPC. Is that something that's not happened for Pursuit Academy? The first mistake says, Oh yes, the 0 point. Yes, the fourth robot is the 0 point robot. You're not really supposed to go after it. This is more or less an obstacle. More or less an obstacle for you. More or less an obstacle. You shouldn't really worry about it as much. So that's mostly what you don't have to really worry about it at all. Ezekiel starts moving through the crowd and sees this number girl. And starts trying to walk to her, but he notices Black Widow goes off, not for hurting time, but mostly it isn't really meant to get in danger, but a little bit annoying to him. Someone tries to touch him. Ezekiel dodges, not much. He didn't really have to use one for all. He just walked around. He basically just dodged it. And he walks through this girl. You know her name. He says, "Hey, how about you relax? Calm down. Don't make me so tense. All of us can try our best. I know I trained for my whole life for this. And if you did train as well, you might, who knows? You might have a chance of getting you. Everyone has a chance of getting you in, but don't be too tense about it. If you fail, you fail. You pass, you pass. More or less. All you can do is try your best and push your limits and go beyond plus and go plus ultra. As soon as you start opening, Ezekiel starts 100 parts, one for all, 10%, and start going through the city. He passes going through robots, but starts using Black Whip, going to them and smashing them on the ground. Basically, they all wrap out on Black Whip, and Ezekiel slams his hand down, destroying robots. This was wild. Some 3-pointers, Ezekiel notices that people are danger. He kicks through the robots, playing with Black Whip, and if he feels surrounded, he starts he's surrounded by some about one, mostly 2 and 3 pointers, not many, enough around his body. He he releases he releases smoke screen around his body and jumps in the air, and then jumps up and floats in his back and smashes them all straight to the ground. He goes on for the trial, switching between kicking through robots, getting some air forces, getting some air force punches, getting some air force to them, and blackmapping them, and most likely floating more or less while using smokescreen to mostly use smokescreen to confuse the robots where he is and destroys them. And he also uses float to see some robots. He's like, okay, I didn't get track of my number, but it should be good for now. He just takes a little bit of a breather. Like, okay. Like, wow, this is definitely a big rush. Finally using it in actual combat. It's a lot of thrill. But then, you can hear that bass in the ground. A big, loud, smashing sound. The 0 point is released, and it is shaking the whole ground. And it's like, this is supposed to be an obstacle? I'm not gonna try and destroy that. I have no reason to. I don't need him. He starts running, but he then hears it. He hears a girl crying out. He doesn't think. He just starts moving, runs to her, takes her the rubble, and starts running. He notices his speed is a little bit faster than that, and decides to do one risky move. He goes to his right arm. He takes off his glove for a moment, and basically 100% smashes and holds the girl close to him with Black Whip to keep her safe. And then he puts on the glove and carries the rocket back to recover girl. Everyone is awestruck about this much strength in one punch. this one kid, unassuming, who ran through and has been racking up points and sandalites, they were awestruck in about how much strength this one punch did, and and he was not that close as well to the robot at the moment. A straight physical punch, it was not a straight punch, but they saw how much power was in that attack, and they are struck by how because it destroyed the robot. It is not there anymore. It is fallen over. No, not it broke apart and some of the parts are broken off. It's not there. And he noticed his right glove is starting to fall apart. Even though he had it off, it was so much pressure that both gloves are really, really starting to break off. Basically starting to break a little bit. Pieces are starting to come off. Not the top part's coming off, but it will soon totally everything inside of it is gonna start breaking and breaking and breaking. Not being able to handle the force he did. His right glove was not on, but the pressure of it was so much, the strength of the punch was so much, the globe's top layer it started to break down. Top layer, then middle, then bottom layer, and then it's gone. He sees the Harbigo and gives the girl to her. And as if there's somebody needs his gloves repaired by some people, because he is gonna need them fast. He said, no. He's like, okay. Just gotta hope, these gloves can last long enough for them. He's like, and waits for the girl to wake up. He's hides this. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna do. I think I did pretty well, considering. But here, he gives her his phone number and says, call me anytime. Okay, we catch you next time. But for now, I gotta leave and get these gloves repaired. He then dashes straight off and runs and finds the shop. Getting a request and staying there is like hoping. And takes off his right glove, and left glove, and hides his right hand in his pocket. And tells him, get these repaired. Here's the design. He has a notebook with the design of it. He basically has an extra page in the notebook he rips out and gives to the guy and shows him everything about the design. It's not his full Airflex gloves that he has for like the ones he show that we have shown for gentle criminal. He didn't have that full function, but it definitely has a little bit of it. It's not as strong as it's supposed to be for that, but that's mostly what he has. He gives the guy his money, and the guy works on it. He pushes it and makes it stronger. You could ask for it to be stronger than with the material he used previously that was on it. He gave a piece of fabric of it and asked him to make sure it's stronger than last time. He can handle his full power. Because the new gloves, strong material, same color design. And you can takes it, puts the red glove, and puts it on his hand, and then puts on the left glove. Yeah, thank you for your service. Hoping that you can get up and do that. This week, Ezekiel and Miraka have been. Next day, Miraka calls it calls. As thanks him for that, and he says, hey, do you want to hang out? We have a whole week. We have some time before the exam result comes. There's the whole week to hang out. Going to arcade. Okay, not most, a little bit of arcade. But more or less, they spend most of the time enjoying the beach. You get some mochai. Not really date sex, but more or less more friendship. But there is definitely, but they mostly blush at each other. Blush. And extra results come in. He says, I am here. The sounds really innocent. Never happened. There is no problem. Mm, All Might is weakened. He's losing power. His fight with all for one, went a little bit the same, except the damage is not as big as last time. He noticed he was losing power. He does not know why he was losing power. So there are more foes to help him face all for one. Him and I really did separate, but we're gonna basically go to All Might's perspective where he is. We're gonna go to the year that All Might was supposed to come. We're basically All Might calls night calls All Might and says, "It's been a while, but I think I have someone who I think should be who should be a successor. Mio Toga. He should be able to easily handle your work." All Might says, "I think about it." He sees his file and says, goes, after such an incident, he definitely notices his power, his time is just low. 3 hours per day. He calls Leon and says, I think I'm really going to see the kid. Him and All Might meet up with Mirochika. Mira's like surprised at seeing All Might. Young Sagato. Lemillion. I'm gonna say Lemillion just for his real name's not really Lemillion, but I'm just gonna say that. It's easier. Hello, Lemillion. I didn't notice my time is running out as All Might. As you notice, I've been getting weaker and weaker, and time is running out for me to be All Might. The similar piece, I knew in 3 hours for the days left, but that time is slowly going down. And soon the people will need a new symbol piece. Young Tagato, would you like to be my successor? Would you like to become my successor? He's like, yes, I would love to do that. He says, let's have a one for all, my quirk. If this is my quirk, one for all. He goes out and he says, let me show you something. He goes out and plays. Alright, Nato's calm, but basically showing a little bit of signs of freaking out. It tells the moon, this moon is from the strongest feeling I ever felt. Never in public. He is not alive anymore. Or if he is definitely gonna hide him. More or less, he's dead. A lot of people helped me out with this one villain. Not public. And my time is only is meant to decrease because of this injury. But this is one power, and this is the one thing I can pass on. The power I have my quirk is called One for All. This quirk has been passed on from generation to generation, always draining and stop on strength until and I'm the eighth user. Now, my power top is when I do, more or less. It's like my quirk can only be passed on if I approve and have the will and approve of the successor. Or I think about it, who I want to, hoping to pass it on, or have someone have my power instead. I will simply lose my power, my strength from one for all. And the new successor would gain my power, without losing. He would get basically the quirk basically forces itself to the user. Once I give it to my power from one for all is going to be decreasing. I lose time and power from one for all. My one for all gets weaker. Like a torch passing on the torch. My torch gets weaker, meanwhile their torch grows. And there may be a problem, maybe it's a problem I already accidentally passed on my quirk a couple years ago before you, without noticing who. The kid would have to be pretty young, or he may not. There's two reasons he's not shown himself. One, he doesn't know he doesn't know he has the quirk and hasn't been using it, or two, he's been young and has trained and been. It's hard. I'm going to probably he's either a villain next to the villain, which if there was, we would notice it by now. This sheer power of it is so strong. Or the kid is gonna start coming to you. Hey, what is another problem? But if everything was right, and I not passed my quirk on, but I'm this weak and I'm just getting too old for this. I like to use it on my quirk. My successor. He says yes. Almost says okay. Now I don't know if I already used it off, but I don't know if I used this up already. But if it is, here. He says this quirk. He pulls out a piece here. This quirk can only be passed on from DNA through DNA. This is the discussing one method. The least discussing method here. It's that's discussing and the methods are, but this should be it. He gives Muriel and Muriel out of the east and says, at the he says, you should not at the beginning. Your body has to digest it. And then one says, I'll stay here with Nina and talk about some stuff. You can do what you're doing. Not what you want to do. Just go patrolling. And Million goes patrolling, and All Might and Million talk. Night, Sir Night Eye, and All Might talk. And like I said, what is that about? About not thinking someone already has to work. Remember the fight with All for One. You saw that fight, right? Remember that? Yes. I should have been strong in that fight, and I know that. You that fight should have gone differently. I still got injured still. But you remember your vision was wrong that time. I was supposed to defeat All for One without less people, right? He says yes. That's some attack, but you have to notice that we had to get more heroes in the fight than we wanted to, right? I mean, yes. That means your vision was wrong. That means whatever happened, something changed, caused that change. Meaning, there's two options. I definitely lost my edge or messed up in some point in the fight, or I already passed the quirk to someone younger than someone. I already passed the quirk on to someone else. Two people have one for all, but it's not really easy as that. The younger new user gets the power. The old user, I basically A and B. I'm A. When A passes on power to B, A gets weaker. The power gets weaker too from user A. He still if he retains a bunch of it, he will lose over time, and B gets the power and it gets stronger. So in that scenario, I might have passed it on to someone unwillingly. I pass it on to someone with accidentally giving my will to them without trying to. So if you didn't get it, it means I pass my quirk on to a person. We gotta hope it's a younger person. The younger the person is, the more less likely he can be dead. That person will be dead. But if they manage to do it, they're not. There is one kid I do have in mind who might have one for all, but only one instance really supposedly helped, only confirmed it. Not really much, but he's younger. But a young 4-year-old reported forklift next day has a super strength. Sound familiar? He says, yes, one ball nothing to price for strength. Yes. Next day, one day, he has a fork. Next day, he has basically straight a fork. Super strength. The thing is, when he uses that power, if it was one for all, if he used 1%, their limbs would fall off. But he didn't use, I don't think he used 100%, or the power was just too new and foreign to him, that as he punches push forward in a fight, his hand was his hand was really bad damage. Some of his put off. As soon as I got him to 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 recovery go, his hand was basically was not there anymore. The hand was basically just overly too damaged to be fixed. Only option was to have that removed, and which was carefully removed. But then something unexpected happened. A quirk, I don't know if it's a new quirk, or a quirk evolution may let happen. To handle the power he just gave. So his right hand can handle that, because I don't really test it out, we can really test it out. What any power will cause, without having people having anyone know about I made a quid and got a fork evolution with just receiving the fork and the body had to mutate something just straight out just to handle the power of where it can handle. And his right hand was coated in a blackness. This is the only photo that I have of it. As you see. So I did research into more ball. I surprising myself, looking into past user names, quirks, everything about them, and I have not found anything about the second, third user. They are unknown, but I got users for the fourth, fifth, sixth, and my own user, my own quirk, my user. Third quirk, fourth user is called Higuro Sumura. His quirk was danger sense. It really didn't do much. The Ronin had about some danger. One for all, we don't know how much it helped him out, but it definitely helped him out a lot more. We There's not much information too much about him, but we only know that his information is a lot more obscured. But there's the next user, the fifth user. There is a lot more information about him, surprising him out. His name is Daniel Banjo. His quirk is Black Whip, and there's a photo of him using his quirk. You see, that is his quirk. So either Izuku Midoriya might be a relative might be a grandson of his. We don't know how much personal life about him, but he might have a relative, a lost, basically a bloodline to him, without accidentally doing that, which would explain the hand. Or one for all is so strong, it got too strong that it has to it exploded, evolved one again. I already told the story about how this evolved. It evolved first. One for all gave his mother a fork, which the mother had a fork and he never, and it must pass on. His first fork passing on to a fork to give some inspiration to someone else. It evolved when Umbral gave it, and it kept giving to someone else, and evolved each time every user was passed on. I was a person, and it evolved on me. Every person it gave, it evolved the quirk. The quirk evolved, it got stronger with each user passing it, evolving. Every person who had their quirks got stronger. The quirks got stronger with it, with one for all. And now we have this user. His name is N. Ian. Don't really know who named it. It is certainly his work is smoke screen. A thick smoke comes out of his body. Would come out of his body. One for all definitely helped him out. The amount he produced out of his body was significantly increased. How much he went through it, and there was a little bit of effect that he didn't really as an evolution. The core powered up definitely, but also it gave him a little bit of better eyesight. Not much, but it helped him see through the pink smoke. Not much, but it's enough to make an effective fighting style of sneak attacks. Unfortunately, that did not do much against All For One. He died before passing on to my master, Natsumoto. Horcrux was flipped. Horcrux didn't really much get better. She was able to use float more effectively, activate faster, even a little bit of flying. But the strength aspect gave her the power to direct air out of, was able to use some strength to direct her air flying, to help her fly more or less. And like all previous users, she lost to All For One. Me, I had mine immediately much. I was given a chance being quirkless. Surprising. Not even very surprising, like yes. But out of all the users, we all get to him the power. Also, as far as I know, every quirk, everyone fifth and you and fifth and beyond me. The sixth, fifth, fourth, we don't know. Fifth, sixth, and seventh and me. Everyone out of all the users, I'm so the oldest one to hold one for all. Meaning, but I got a younger age. I was more or less at the end of middle school. My abilities adapted quickly, and I was able to. I was master prodigy, more or less prodigy of it. Prodigy of it. So as and I don't hold it, so the power of it got strong with me. Because of that, the quirk got stronger with me. So and then it's me. Next user would be the ninth user. And if a Miracle comes here and he not feel anything at all, that means my quirk has been passed on to the ninth user, to a new to user, to the who is now the current ninth user, one for all. I'm going to be attending UA. More or less to help the public settle down when I retire as All Might. I'm losing time. I have 3 hours. I have given my quirk to a person. Either that be Scotto or someone else. There is gonna have the excuse of me retiring. We gotta have a new symbol. I want a new symbol up there. I don't have much time left. You said I was gonna die out. I'm still alive. The future has changed a lot. The future has changed, Night Eye. Your predictions have gone wrong twice in so far. Okay, only once so far, but so far I'm still alive and well. Alive, yes. Well, not so much. The injury was not as bad as we thought. I have a stomach. Like, I don't have as much of a stomach anymore. Most of my organs are gone. But I do have a little bit of a stomach. Not much. I'm weaker. I'm more or less of a skeleton this one, but it is my body was able to actually regenerate, heal a little bit. I have a stomach now. Not much of one, but it's definitely there. So I'm able to get help. I'm only able to probably look better as my true form. I get better looking. So when I do retire and some power, I'm like more like a normal person, not just a skeleton anymore. Which surprised, which surprised everyone, including me. There was one doctor who did it. It was like this last year. There was that to help to bait my last surgery, not a surgery, but a healer. The strongest hero there was known. This hero was old, and he wanted to pass. His work was super powerful. He's the strongest healing card there was. But the thing is, he gets older and weaker. This man, and this year he preferred his last one. He went up to us, me, and went up to me and asked if I could be healed. I said my injuries are too well beyond any healing. He says that's fine. I'm I'm tired of this. I've done doing my job for too many years. I'm old and I have one less chance to. I can only use my quirk more time before I die. My quirk I've been healing frequency for so long. I'm weak. I uh I really was suspicious. I got Recovery Girl. I brought him to you. I got your Recovery Girl with me to meet up. She recognized the doctor straight away. Legendary performed doctor performing miracles beyond of work. and he was approved to use his quirk. He said, as soon as I use my quirk and done with it, I would die. The injury I heal is going to be pretty much significant. So I was I see the guy uses quirk. Everything of his power. He used everything he had in that last healing of his. He knew he was going to die. But he wanted to do it still. I'm really sad about him. He's dead. His last surgery did help me out though. His last surgery was able to bring my body back together. The scarring is not as much visible, it's less there, not much, but you saw how it looked. Not as bad as it used to if it was years ago, right? And I got some of the stomach there. It may have been his last surgery, but it was a miracle for me, having a little bit of hope. Here we go now, but now look at this. Our predictions have gone differently. UA. Yes, UA, and oh my, Watson, and see this kid using every quirk he has got so far on one for all. He's like, is this the ninth user or what? After I exam, Ome walks straight to Nezu and he says, Nezu, that kid, he may actually have one for all. Sagata didn't receive anything after that went out, after the 3 hours. He should have it by now. So it's possible this kid has one for all in the past user's works. Let me show you. He says, okay, what do you want to do? And what about it? Oh my, he's like, aren't we gonna train him? He says, oh my, this kid has one for all. He might know why he has this. He might not know why who gave it to him. He might know who gave it to him. We don't know. He may be disappointed or angry with if we ask for him to take it back from him. Because remember, this kid was Crocus for most of his. He would have been Crocus for his whole life. He worked on himself. He worked to he worked his life for this work. He unlocked the previous user quirks. Mirachado may have been able to unlock those quirks, but he already had a problem with his quirk already. Mirachado, if this quirk was stronger, he had a problem using his permeation quirk already. He worked on permeation. He worked on permeation. It took a while, but he definitely got to it. If he had one for all of him, he would have problems with developing it. You saw how the kid was fighting. Mirachado would have to adjust his fighting style again to work on one for all, and then unlock the future user course, evolve the course into his fighting style. He might obviously use this past course effectively with him. This kid is a perfect user already. He is a fighting style with his quirk. He used the past user course pretty effectively. Ninja's the only quirk I really can see. He said, I'm missing a single target user, but who knows? They may be impossible to find. Look at this. He used your master's quirk, float. Effectively, it's not much now, but he need to work with it probably. He can't really move around his strength for most of his life. Either. So, he really can use the float as effective. It may be odd, but we're gonna help him out, really help him out. He's gonna be treated as a normal student. He is the future of One for All now. I'm not gonna help him out as he want me to. But he definitely is gonna be a student as class 1A. He's passed. He rescued people. He got enough rescue points. He beat your record on like 100 100 points, 100 common points in 100 rescue points, beating previous weapons, a 200-point total in first place. The second person who got the second place used the second person who got the second rescue point. Next person who got next the most, then the second person, Baku Kasi, 90 combat points and only 10 rescue points. It is something spectacular, but it is exactly what we have. Got to all Ezekiel again. I am here. You may be wondering, I am gonna go to a new A to not pass down my knowledge from the past users, from the new generation. Ezekiel, you have gotten 100 rescue points. And you pass my college on your practical written exam, and your practical, you got 100 combos. You only got first place, but as soon as you had road actions, this not be a hero school if we not reward people with road actions, rescuing people. Now, so our second portion was rescue points, and you having people save and helping save that girl and people are on the way. You have accumulated 100 rescue points. You have a new record UA. The most combat and rescue points in UA history. Beating my record as well. I'm glad to say you got first place with 200 points in total. You have power class of 1A. Moving to your Hero Academia. And that is the end of this episode. But he shares information with Iraka, and they have a celebration, and their relationship has greatly improved. They are almost legitimately ready to confess. And Zuko knows when he might do it. If he wins UA Force Festival, he's gonna do it. So it's not the Superior, please like.